And my name is Melissa Sherry, and I wanted to welcome you on behalf of the Michigan Community Service Commission to our first June training. And this is one we've been looking forward to for a long time. It is on social media. And our hope is that you'll learn a lot today about recruiting volunteers, getting your message out there, and using social media to the fullest advantage. We have some phenomenal speakers today. We have Carly Tyaski. Did I do that right, Carly?
Close. Tchaikovsky.
Tataski, I'm so sorry. And she is from Sparrow Health System. She is a media specialist there, and we are blessed to have her with us. And then we also have Bree Andrews, who is an AmeriCorps Vista for the Michigan Community Service Commission. But you know what? She also has been working with Peachtree Parks, and she's working on her master's degree in multimedia. We're excited to have her with us. And one of my favorite people here at the commission, we have Jason Alexander, who is our communications director. He's also with us today. And so they'll each have just be able to share from their own perspective about social media and how it can benefit nonprofits. So with that, we are going to use our chat. If you want to hold questions till the end of each presenters, that would be great. But if you've got something here, put it in the chat. I'll monitor the chat. And then we'll make sure that we don't miss that burning question. So with that, I will ask everyone to mute if you don't mind, but I will turn it over to Carly, and she will do her full introduction, and we'll get started. So thank you, Carly. Take it away.
Thanks, Melissa. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Here we go. All right, can everyone see that okay? All right. Like Melissa said, my name is Carly Tchaikovsky. I work for Sparrow Health System. So hopefully I can share a little bit about my knowledge today and give you guys some tips on how your organization can more effectively utilize social media. Oops.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so today we'll talk about a little bit about the benefits of social media. We'll dive a little into Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I'll show some examples of other nonprofits using social media. I'll talk about the importance of developing a social media strategy, tips to creating a good post. And then if we still have a little bit of time, I'll talk about Facebook boosted posts and the importance of online community management. So more than 4.6 billion people are on social media. So that's more than half of the world is on social media. So social media allows you to share your message on a global and a local level. So for nonprofits, you can use social media to communicate your mission, connect with community, recruit volunteers, reach potential donors, inspire action, build awareness, the list goes on. Social media is just so incredibly powerful. So diving into Facebook, Facebook is the largest, most popular social network with nearly 3 billion active users monthly. Facebook is so versatile. You can do so much on Facebook. Connect with family and friends, build communities, shop for products, find events, but most importantly for marketers, it allows us to easily market to consumers, making Facebook the most used platform for organizations. So if your organization doesn't have a Facebook business page, I highly recommend you get one. So here are a couple of examples of Facebook posts that Feeding America shared. Feeding America is a nonprofit that works to ensure access to food for people that don't have it. So in this first post on the left here, I'm just going to briefly read it. After helping others as a certified nursing assistant for 30 years, Mary had a stroke and could no longer work. Her disability benefits check goes towards necessary expenses, but often little is left for groceries. So once a month, she visits her local mobile food pantry, and the food she receives helps her fill the gaps. Mary isn't alone in facing difficult decisions like filling prescriptions or filling her fridge. In 2020, 1 in 15 seniors across the country faced food insecurity, and seniors are more likely to face hunger if they identify as Black, Latino, or Native American. Get the facts. And then they include a really great visual here of Mary. So you're already connecting with Mary, you dive a little bit into her story, and you already empathize with her. And Feeding America does a really great job of educating the audience that, you know, there's so many more others out there like Mary that, you know, face food insecurity and need help. So this is such a powerful story, and Feeding America does such a great job with this post. And then the other example on the right here is a little different. Hunger, food insecurity. You may think these words mean the same thing. And they talk about how, you know, all of us have experienced hunger, but not all of us have experienced food insecurity. And they share some facts here about food insecurity. So they do a really great job here of educating the audience about what food insecurity is. And they include a really great attention-grabbing graphic as well. So here are a couple more examples of Facebook posts from Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit that helps people build or improve their place to live, their homes. So in this first post here, another really powerful story. At 100 years old, Don Martinson is still volunteering with Wichita Habitat for Humanity. His specialty is woodworking, and he makes rosettes that top the corners of every door for newly built homes. At 30 to 50 per home, he makes close to 1,000 rosettes each year. And then you can read Don's full story by clicking on the image there. So again, they include a really great image. It's a link that includes a teaser image of Don doing his woodworking. And they connect it to they include the hashtag Older Americans Month, so connecting it to a relevant topic that's happening in the world. So another really powerful story. Users are connecting with Don, and people can think, wow, like 100 years old and he's still volunteering. Like, that's a really great tool, really great story to share to help recruit other volunteers as well. And the other post on the right here, ready to start your spring cleaning, use this handy flowchart to avoid sending items to the landfill and decide whether you should recycle, repurpose, or donate to a Habitat for Humanity restore. And then they include the link here. The web teaser image is that handy chart. Again, very attention grabbing. They shared this at the beginning of May when everybody's starting to do their spring cleaning. So Habitat for Humanity took advantage of that, and they're like, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to connect with people. People are doing their spring cleaning. Let's encourage them to, instead of throwing out their stuff, to donate. So moving on to Instagram. Instagram is a completely visual platform used for sharing photos and videos. People go to Instagram to get inspired, discover new content, and learn about businesses and brands. So for organizations, Instagram is a really great platform to showcase products and services. So here are a couple examples of nonprofits on Instagram. The one on the left here, the Humane Society. I feel like I don't have to explain why the Humane Society chose Instagram as a platform. Such a great visual platform for them to advocate and raise awareness for these animals. And then on the right here, the nonprofit Water. Water works to provide access to safe and clean water to people around the world. So they use Instagram to showcase the people that they help all over the world. And it's so inspiring. So really great platform for them as well. Moving on to Twitter. Unlike Instagram, Twitter is all about text or tweets. People mainly go to Twitter to share news and stay up to date with what's going on in the world, stay in touch with current events and trending topics as well. So for organizations, Twitter is all about getting people to join in on the conversation, or you as an organization to join in on those trending conversations. So a couple examples here. The American Heart Association does a really good job of garnishing community engagement through tags, hashtags, and trending topics. So they say, thanks to Kara Wisher and Pivot Pod for bringing attention to the signs of a stroke. Your personal story will help save lives. Hashtag American Stroke Month, hashtag FAST, and then they mention Go Red for Women, and of course, a very visual popping graphic as well. So they made sure to include those relevant hashtags and then also include those tags of people involved. And then other example, this is an example of a retweet. The Forest Service tweeted this awesome graphic saying the Memorial Day weekend starts this Friday. So he wanted to share some campfire safety tips. So of course the National Forest Foundation saw this content, saw how relevant it was to their mission, and retweeted it during Memorial Day weekend to make sure people knew to stay safe when having fires for the holiday weekend. So just another both great examples of nonprofits using social media to advocate for their mission. Another platform we're going to talk about is LinkedIn. The mission of LinkedIn is very simple. It's used to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. So people go to LinkedIn to look for opportunities, expand their education, and grow professionally. So more awesome examples here. The American Red Cross shared this very powerful story again about one of their volunteers, Mike. They shared a little bit about his background and how he got involved with the organization. They included in the post what he does as a volunteer, responding to home fires, capturing stories of the people he helped, standing in as a public information officer, and also monitors the national social accounts. And then the American Red Cross also made sure to thank him in the post. So that right there shows you that the American Red Cross really values their volunteers. And that can stand out to the users and say, hey, this looks like a great organization to volunteer for. I want to be like Mike. His story is so inspiring. And then of course they include the link of where you can read more. We call it a CTA, or call to action, and we'll talk a little bit about that in some of the later slides. So the other example on the right here, the National Wildlife Federation uses LinkedIn to share their webinars and encourage people to attend their free webinars. So of course they include all the information on when the webinar is and how you can get involved. They just briefly explain what it's about and what you can learn. And then they include that link on how you can sign up. And then they also include all the relevant hashtags to make their content more visible. And then of course, very awesome visuals to grab people's attention. So both in these nonprofits, the American Red Cross uses LinkedIn to recruit volunteers by sharing volunteer stories. And the National Wildlife Federation uses LinkedIn to educate and encourage people to attend their educational series. So diving into social media strategy, it's so important to have a social media strategy. Social media strategy outlines your goals, the tactics you will use to achieve your goals, and the metrics you will use to track your goals. So when you're setting your goals, you want to make sure that they're measurable, they're specific, and they're achievable. So if one of your objectives is to raise brand awareness, you want to translate that into a measurable goal. So for instance, increase social media followers by 3% in 2022. That's a very specific measurable goal that you can actually track. If you don't set measurable goals, you'll never know if how you're performing on your social platforms. You'll just be sharing content and you'll never know like what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, or where you can improve. So it's so important to set very measurable, specific goals. So your tactics is all of the details of what your content is going to include. So what are you going to post? Are you going to post volunteer stories? Are you going to post, stories about the people that you're helping? Are you going to post, educational infographics? All of this information goes into your tactics. What channels are you going to use? Are you only going to use Facebook? Are you going to use Facebook and Instagram? And then when will you post? Like what time of day? Do some research. See what time of day your users or your audience is most likely going to be online. If you're just starting out, I recommend sharing posts at least 3 times a week, and then after you like build your content calendar, you can start posting, at least once a day. It's really important to stay active on your social media channels. And then finally, how will you share your content? Are you going to use photos? Are you going to use videos, infographics? All of these go into your tactics. And I recommend building out a content calendar so that you can plan out all of your content, and it makes it so much easier for you to look ahead to like the occurrences like on the recognition months. See where you can connect your brand and your mission to what other people are celebrating or recognizing. Just like the example about Habitat for Humanity, they took advantage of spring cleaning at the beginning of springtime and made sure that they connected to that to encourage people to donate items. So planning is so important. And then finally, metrics. The great thing about social media is it gives you all of these metrics right up front. It's all about numbers. So followers, reach, impressions, engagements. These are just some of the few that I use to track my goals. Reach is the number of unique people who have seen your content. Impressions is the amount of times your content has been displayed. And engagements is the number of interactions people have made with your content. So likes, comments, clicks, all of that. And the best thing is if you have a business platform, a business page, they give you all of these metrics directly on the platform. So if you don't have the budget to invest in, a fancy tool that tracks all of this, like you don't have to. The platforms give you all of these insights for you. So as you saw in the examples that I showed, all of the posts included copy, media, and a CTA or a call to action. So when you're writing your copy for your post, you want to keep it simple. Make sure you do include all the details that that you need to in the post, but keep it very simple and make it very easy to read. Simple is always better. And then you always want to include either a photo or a video or some type of visual. Visual content is always more engaging. And then of course, a CTA, a call to action. What do you want your audience to do? Do you want them to go to your website? Do you want them to call a phone number? Make sure you include that information in the post so how they can take the next steps. And then Facebook, boosted posts. I think we're still doing okay on time. So let's say you're putting your post out there, and you shared this one really great post, but it just didn't get the performance that you were hoping it would. Just didn't get the reach or the engagement that you really hoped it would. So consider boosting it. When you boost a post, you can determine the budget, and you can determine your target audience. And sometimes even spending, $15 can allow your one post to reach over 500 more people. So it's a lot more cheaper than you'd actually think it is. So maybe that's something you can test out or build up to if you want to. And with these two quotes here, Build it and they will come only works in the movies. Social media is a build it, nurture it, engage them, and they may come and stay. It's a dialogue, not a monologue, and some people don't understand that. Social media is more like a telephone than a television. Developed for people to interact and engage with one another. And some businesses don't remember that. And they're just like posting content without, looking back at it or keeping track of the comments. So it's so important to manage your online community. Engage with your audience, listen to what they're saying, obtain feedback from them, gather ideas, have real conversations. It's just like in person. Your online presence is such a reflection of your brand, and it's a reflection of your customer service. If somebody like asked you a question in person, you want to ignore them. It's just like online. If someone asked you a question, commented on your post and asked a question, it's so important to respond to them and engage. So it's so important to maintain your brand identity, both offline and online. So that's all that I have, Melissa. If we wanted to save questions till the very end.
Well, let's see. Are there any questions for Carly? That sounded really interesting. How much does it usually, did you say it usually costs to boost a Facebook post? And when, like, how often would you say to do that?
So it's really dependent on what you're aiming for. We typically do maybe like boost 4 posts a month for our organization. Okay. But you can totally determine your own budget. You can spend, $10, you can spend up to $100. It just depends on what kind of reach you really want to get.
Okay, great. And then like, what is your, how do you decide which ones you're going to boost?
If it's a very important, relevant topic that we really want people to be aware of and get the word out. For example, when we started administering COVID vaccines, that was information that we definitely wanted to boost and reach as many people as possible.
And does it do it in your geographic area, or are you reaching people in like Chicago, way out of Sparrow's reach?
So that's another metric that you can set yourself. So you can reach people within your own community, or you can target people, hundreds of miles away. So.
Oh, okay. Rebecca had a question. She keeps trying to encourage comments and conversation, but she rarely gets the comments other than bots. What can she do to make a post start a conversation?
So yeah, there's a lot you can do. You can, have your post, your copy, pose a question in your copy, or even after you put your post out, you start the comments and put your comments in the comment section to encourage other people. And it's also important to, in the comment section, like tag other organizations or tag other people, encourage people directly to engage in your content.
Melissa, I have something on that too. Depending on what platform you're on, you can also use the poll. Like I know Facebook and Instagram, they have the poll option. And that's a good way to kind of generate some feedback, because some people, they may be a little reserved to hop in the comments, and because it shows your page and who you are. And a poll is a way that you can remain anonymous. So using, maybe if you put content on your story and say you're using Instagram or Facebook as that platform, you share that post to your story and then use the poll sticker and ask a question to get some feedback.
Oh, I love that. Is that a free service then, the polls are?
Yeah, so that's the option. Those are just different stickers. When you're on Instagram and Facebook, you have the option to like add GIFs and stickers, and you can add the time and location and different cool little tools like that to make it pop. So yeah, that it is definitely free.
And then what about, and I'm sorry to monopolize this, but I just have one other question. What do you recommend, like if you get like a not so positive comment? Do you recommend deleting it, or do you recommend just responding to it in private and just leaving it? What's your recommendation for that?
So it definitely depends on what the context of the comment is. We have specific policies, if it contains, harassment, like that's something that we don't tolerate. So that is, those types of comments we do remove. However, if it's just, a comment about just a negative experience, we don't delete those, but we make sure to respond to them and encourage that person to contact us, so we can talk to them in person to help resolve the issue.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Jonathan had a question. When it comes to more non-traditional social media platforms like Snapchat or those coming in the future, what would you recommend for promoting? Do you ever use Snapchat?
I do not use Snapchat. I don't know if you do, Bree.
I don't use Snapchat. I mean, personally, I've gotten away from it. For the nonprofit, I don't. Usually Snapchat and TikTok, which is your newer platforms, they're geared towards a lot of younger. So if the younger generation is who you're trying to target, then I would start to become acquainted with those platforms. But like, I'm talking like high school, young college kids usually are on those platforms. A lot of the like postgraduate, grad students, older people are not really looking for content like nonprofit type of content on Snapchat or TikTok, but I would just recommend getting acquainted with the platforms and just trying to post engaging content. If you just want to put content out there that's gonna get you some traction and just try to not necessarily go viral, but just raise some type of awareness, just get aware with the platform and just start putting content out there.
Oh, yeah. I have another question. Could you speak more to hashtags? How do you know which ones to use and how many? That's a great question.
Well, Carly, did you want to go? I could.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Because in my presentation, I actually talk about hashtags. So with my nonprofit, I actually use a ton of hashtags. And the hashtags that I use is I choose hashtags that are relevant to my mission. So for instance, the nonprofit that I work with, we are a community garden organization. So I try to use hashtags that have to do with, one, I always use volunteer, give back, donate, but then I also use like gardening, and we're in the Detroit area. So I'll use urban gardening. I'll use Garden Detroit. I'll try to use a lot of hashtags that are relevant to the mission that we do. So if you're with the youth, I would use youth. I would use whatever area you're in. I would just try to use the relevant hashtag.
Here's a question I've always wondered about hashtags. When you use a hashtag, does that mean like when I search, if you put youth in it, it's going to come up?
So if you use pound sign youth, anytime you click on that hashtag, it'll bring up all content that uses that hashtag. And you can even follow a hashtag. So people do tend to follow the hashtag. So for instance, in my sector, if you're in the gardening, you can follow the gardening hashtag. And so it does bring up all content that uses that hashtag. So people can find you that way. We've had like news outlets find us from just searching hashtags and coming across our page. And I try to be consistent with the hashtag. So I may try to personally, I like to use 10 to 15 different hashtags, and I consistently use those hashtags on every post. I may change it depending on, like, if it's Earth Day, I may throw an Earth Day tag in there. I'm not using Earth Day every day because every day's not Earth Day, but the general tags like gardening, donate, volunteer Detroit, I'll use those on every single post, just so when somebody does hit that hashtag, you'll see multiple pieces of content that come up from.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, you really explained hashtags to me. I did not know. I have another question. This is from Ashley. Is there a character limit that you want to stay around for Facebook posts?
It definitely depends on the post. I would say stay away from novels. Nobody has the time or the patience to read novels these days. They want, very quick content. I would say in the example of like the post about LinkedIn and even, you know, Mary, that those were probably like about around the length that you want to stick to, if not shorter. So simple and succinct is definitely key. And if you're posting on Twitter, Twitter does have a character limit of like 280 characters. So you have to keep it very, very short on Twitter. So.
Oh, good. And then Susan says she has a page on Facebook. Does she create a separate page on LinkedIn the same way as she did on Facebook?
If she wants to create a business page on LinkedIn, yep, they would just recommend keep everything consistent. So use the same profile name, same profile image, so that people can easily find your organization on multiple platforms.
Okay. And then Sharnice said, do you recommend hashtags? I'm going to say hashtag yes. And then Jonathan, additionally, if networking with another program and or university, if they have a social media platform, does occur. Are there any agreements that need to be made if they wish to promote or use the program and vice versa?
I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
Okay, so if a network or another program and or a university that has a social media platform, and you want, I guess if you want to use it, do you have to have an agreement to be able to promote the program or vice versa, or to share it?
I don't think so. If I'm understanding correctly, I mean, all social platforms are free to use. And if the question is, if you have your own social platform and you want to involve like the university and you want to tag them, like you can do that very easily. I'm not sure I'm answering the question.
Yeah, I think that was where the question was going. Jonathan, feel free to speak up if that's not what we're doing, if we didn't answer that. I'll move on to Susan though. How would I see times my target audience is on the platform? And do all platforms offer boosts and metrics? And then she wants to know about a free YouTube channel or an online resource for any online content to increase her now. Okay, yeah. So let's do the first one. Can you tell when your audience is on your platforms?
So I know in Facebook Insights, if you have a Facebook business page, if you go to those that insight page, it does show you when your audience is most likely going to be online. But you can easily do like your own individual research too and see when your target audience is going to be online as well.
Okay. And then do all platforms offer the boost and the metrics?
I know all business pages offer insights, the metrics. I know Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram offer boosts. I don't know about Twitter. I don't think Twitter offers boosts.
I don't think Twitter offers boosts.
Oh, okay. And then Susan also asked, is there any place or an online resource, maybe besides YouTube, that she can increase her knowledge of social media management? What would you suggest there?
I say I use Google is a great tool. You can Google any information that you want to know, and there's a lot of different blog posts and information like that. But also, if you go to like a social media management platform, like let's say Hootsuite, they offer like tutorials and trainings on general information about like some of the stuff that Carly went over, like reach and how to extend your reach and things like that. So a lot of if you Google social media management platforms, there's a ton of them. They offer free trials and they also offer tutorials and they offer information for you to kind of understand how to better use social media tools.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Brianna, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but you said something so fast. It's which one you said offers the tutorials?
Oh, one of them that I mentioned was Hootsuite.
How do you spell that?
HOOT SUITE.
Okay.
But there's so many different social media management platforms, but that's one of the most popular ones. A lot of times, a lot of the social media management tools, they offer free trials and they give tutorials with it. So that's a good place to start because they do offer a lot of good information, and they offer it in like PDF format. Sometimes they offer it like they already have the YouTube videos, so you don't have to go to YouTube and search them. They incorporate it within their platform.
Leah also mentions Canva offers free pro accounts to nonprofits where you can create scheduled posts to LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then Miles says Twitter does offer boost to promote it as a promoted tweet. Yeah. And then Jonathan clarified, sorry for any confusion. When a university has their own platform and they wish to promote our program, does the university need to contact us before posting and promoting to ensure proper promoting?
I mean, usually any content that we put out in the public atmosphere is free game for you to share. So if we are promoting a program or something and you want to share that program, we the more the merrier. We would love for you to share and extend that reach of how many people can be informed about that. So usually you can go ahead and share it. If it's posted, like usually when we post things out there for the public, we are encouraging you to share because we want people to be aware and raise awareness.
And Ashley says, I love YouTube, but also SCORE has a lot of free webinars and some are live. That's awesome. Oh, and then that Hootsuite, Jason put that in the chat. Okay, good. Okay. Oh my gosh, Carly, that was wonderful. And lots of questions, but it doesn't stop here. We now have Bree. And so Bree, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick and then hop in and do your presentation. This is wonderful.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Bree Andrews. So currently I am working with the Michigan Community Service Commission as a summer associate. I'm working in the communications department and I'm working actually with Jason, and I'm overseeing the social media and working on a different outreach programs. Currently, as Melissa stated earlier, I'm getting my master's degree. So I'll actually be done this year or this fall. I'm getting my degree in mass media management with like a concentration in digital media. So like social media. So I've done a nice amount of research on digital media. And then I also have experience in the nonprofit sector. Like I said, I am the director of marketing and communications for a local nonprofit here in Detroit by the name of Peachtree Parks. So I've been working with that nonprofit for 7 years. So I basically had to grow the organization from when it first started and had zero awareness to kind of where we are now. So I have some experience with social media and trying to reach donors and volunteers. And the main tool that we really used was social media to raise awareness. So I'm going to give you a few tools. Some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say in my presentation is just a repeat of some of the things that Carly already mentioned. So let me go ahead.
You know what, Bree, while you're doing that, Roseanne had her hand up and I missed it. You know what, Roseanne, you can unmute and just ask us the question. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm happy to do that. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's clearly a lot of expertise that younger people have with social media that older people might be missing. Also, I have a very, very small staff. And so when I think about the kind of consistency that doing social media right requires, I just think, oh my gosh, it's a part-time job. And with that in mind, I wouldn't want to take advantage of anybody, but until I could hire someone, I'm wondering about how I might appeal to people who would be interested in an internship or a resume building opportunity. And what some guidelines for that might be in terms of how many hours you would ask people to put in, other kinds of compensations short of cash that might make it valuable to them?
I think on that, the one thing I can recommend is maybe, like you mentioned, internships. And I know that there is a platform, I think it's called Handshake, where you can go on Handshake. Your organization can, I'm not familiar about the whole process, but I do know about Handshake. And I think you can post positions to Handshake, and it's a way to get students to like an internship. And in turn, I don't know now, I'm not sure because I haven't done it, but maybe like work study, where I think maybe the university might pay the stipend. I'm not sure specifically how that works, but I know Handshake might be a good tool to attract college students to where they can get like credits or like a summer internship in turn for helping you do whatever social media tasks you need.
And we actually use Handshake quite a bit, and the reach is pretty incredible. Here's the other thing to think about is that you don't have to have someone local. You can have someone in another state. I actually had someone who was in Turkey. He started out at Michigan State, but he went back to Turkey and he was updating my website from Turkey. I did at the time, I really remembered, and I was really in tune to the time difference back then. But that's a really good example. And somebody else, Janice, is absolutely right. AmeriCorps is a wonderful program. Yes, it is.
So I used to work with an AmeriCorps program in Philadelphia, and we would work with a whole group of people. My program included a whole group of people, but I know that through Vista, you can get individual. But can you get individual community service volunteers through AmeriCorps as well for a specific project?
Yep. And you know what? We even recruit through Handshake for Vista. So, yeah.
Okay.
And Michigan, it's a good thing to follow up later with the Michigan Community Service Commission, because we're
definitely. I will do that. Can I ask another just really quick question? And that is in terms of guidelines for what gets posted on social media. If we want to say, no hate speech, no this, no that, where do you put that on your page? Does it go on the page? Like, how do you let people know what your expectations are with posts?
So I've seen organizations do it differently. I've seen a lot of nonprofits just include it in their about section on their page. They just include a really brief paragraph. Or like for larger nonprofits, they just put a link in their about section that directs them to like their entire online policy on their website. So I've seen it done both ways.
Great. Thank you. That the about spot is a good place to start, I think. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh, I was muted. Go ahead, Bree. Sorry.
Oh, nope. You're fine. So I did my introduction, so I'll just jump straight in. So here are a few things that I feel like for a nonprofit, it's important to identify. And some of these things, a lot of you may already have identified. But the first thing is identify what your organization's mission is. And if you've started a nonprofit, then you probably should already know what your organization's mission is. But it's important to make sure that you identify that and make sure that the content that you're putting out and the things that you're putting out on social media goes back to what your mission is. Kind of like what Carly said earlier, who is your target audience? So when you are creating content and you're using social media, who are you looking to target? That kind of goes into my third point of what platforms will you focus on? Because based on what audiences you're trying to target, it's important to know what platforms you'll focus on. I think for me, I won't call it a mistake, but one thing I learned during the process is don't put that pressure on yourself of trying to be on all platforms, because as we stated, like a lot of us may work a full-time job outside running the nonprofit, or you may have family, or it's just a full-time job. So trying to be present on every platform that's available, that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and don't put that pressure on yourself. So identify who it is you want to target, and then try to find those platforms that will align with the audience you're trying to target and the type of content that you're trying to put out. So are you trying to share photos? Are you trying to share videos? A combination of both, blog posts? What is it that you're looking at? Because things like Instagram are great for photos, and now they're evolving into a place that's allowing you to post longer videos. So videos also. Facebook is good for videos and some photos. Twitter is good, as Carly said, for news and to get information out there. So just identify what your mission or your target is, and try to target those platforms that will help you put out the content that you're looking to put out. Next, just a few tips when creating social media content. One thing that I like to do for our nonprofit is I like to decide what experience are you looking to provide your volunteers specifically. So when you're trying to reach out and trying to get people to be aware and volunteer with your organization, what is the experience that you're trying to provide them? Because ultimately, before they choose to come out to your to maybe volunteer with your organization, they'll probably find you online or in some digital capacity first. So you want to make sure that you're providing some sort of experience for those users when they visit your profile, whether it's your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. What is the feeling that you want to generate? And make sure that you're creating content that aligns with that. And then also make sure that whatever that experience is that you create digitally, it transfers into a physical experience. So if I am generating a experience that we are lighthearted, that we are fun, and for us, we like to garden, and it doesn't matter about your experience, I want to make sure that when my volunteers choose to come out and actually volunteer with us, that same feeling that they get when they visit our social media platforms, they also feel that when they're volunteering with us. As Carly stated, call to actions are important. So what actions are you looking to accomplish? When you get people to visit your profile, so when you actually do the work of bringing people in, what is it that you're looking for from them? Are you looking for them to visit your website? Are you looking for them to share your content? Are you looking for them to donate? Are you looking for them to volunteer? What is it that you're looking for from them? And make sure that you vocalize that. And make sure you let them know what it is you want them to do, because it's good to get them there, but now we also want to provoke action. So let them know what you want them to do. And then I like to focus on outcomes. So once someone chooses to partake in the call to action, I like to provide a little snippet of an outcome. So let's just say I'm looking to get people to volunteer. So I may say, by signing up to volunteer, you can help us create or complete this task. Or by choosing to donate, you can help us purchase whatever it is you're looking to buy with donations. Or if you're looking to have people share your content, you can say something like, by sharing our posts, you can help us raise awareness or reach 10 extra people and let them know about our mission. So I like to always provide a little outcome with the call to action, because it helps people feel connected to the mission. It helps them feel like they're actually doing something. So if you're asking them to share, and you can say, by you sharing, we're able to spread our mission to 10 other people. By them hitting that share button, they feel involved and like they actually did something to help the organization. And then here are just a few additional tips. Here are some things that, like I said, Carly already mentioned, but avoid using too many words on your content. So like I said, for your media, you probably are using photos, or you're probably using videos or something like that. One thing I've learned through my research is the attention span is very short on social media. There's a lot of content out there. You're fighting through a lot of different content. So you want to grab the attention very quick. And so you want to avoid using too many words on your content. And if you want to use that caption section to go into detail. Try not to go into too much detail because people don't like to read too much, but use the caption section to put your words, and try not to put so many words. If you're creating your own content, try not to fill your content with too many words. When mentioning other organizations, so say you have an event with another organization, or you have some support from another organization, make sure you tag them, because tagging them in that post, they get a notification, they may be more likely to share it, like it. It just increases awareness about that content piece that you put out. So make sure you tag other organizations when you use them, or even if you're just trying to get recognition. Like for our nonprofit, we do a lot of building of garden beds. So we may use like the works drill. So sometimes I might tag works in a post. Like we built a garden bed today with this powerful works drill, and sometimes they'll respond in a comment like, oh, that's so great. We love to see people using our tools. So that's a good tool to also use for marketing, is to, if you're using any product of someone, tag them in it. What's the worst that could happen? It just raises awareness that you're using their product. And sometimes it leads to in-kind donations. So use that. If you're using a platform like Instagram or Facebook that has stories, post content to your story. A lot of things that I like to use the story for is, it might be something that you don't necessarily want to post on your page, but the story is a good way to keep your followers engaged. So if we're watering the plants today, I might not want to make a whole post on our page of me watering the plants, but I can take a quick little video or a photo and post that to our story. And it may go away in 24 hours, but it's still a way to still be engaged. Even if you don't have content to post on your page, you can still use the story as a way to have engagement. Share your own posts to your story. So if you post something on your page, you can also share that same post to your story. It gives people double the place to see it. So how the algorithm kind of works is, when you like somebody's post, you'll start to see them more. So if I post a picture on my page and then I post that picture to my story, somebody might not see it as they scroll their timeline, but they may be scrolling on their story and they might see it. And that's another way to bring them to my page. So use that avenue of posting things or content that you post on your page. If you're using Instagram or Facebook, also try to post that to your story. It just gives another way to have awareness there. And then engage by commenting, liking, and sharing content from your followers and other organizations. Because if you support me, I support you. So I think it's a good way to kind of build that digital relationship with other organizations and other people. Comment on their posts, like their posts, share their posts. You don't have to share it to your page. If you're on an Instagram or a Facebook, Twitter, you can retweet, share it to your story, but just start gathering that interaction, start encouraging that interaction amongst your followers, so that when you put content out there, people start to be receptive to it, and you'll start to pop up in the timeline and the algorithm. And then it said, use a social media app. Use a social media management app. Now, most of these cost. There's not I don't know any of them that are free. You can do a free trial, but most of them cost. I only recommend this if you're trying to be on multiple platforms. So if you're running multiple different pages, so say you have an Instagram, a Facebook, a Twitter, and you're trying to post content to all of them, social media management apps are good because, as Carly stated, it allows you to schedule posts. It allows you to post the content, create one post, and you can post it to multiple different places. It's not dire. If you're only on one or two, if say you're on just Instagram and Facebook, I know that Instagram has the option where you can post directly to Facebook with the click of a button. So you wouldn't necessarily need a management app in that case, but it's just good if you are managing multiple accounts. It's a good way to keep things organized. And so here is the nonprofit that I work for, and here are just two social media post examples. So on the left is a Facebook post. And this is a post from actually Earth Day. So if you see, this is actually a post that I posted on Instagram, but our Instagram posts also go to Facebook too. So you'll notice that I tried to use photos that show a group photo, but then also photos that show us in action of what we actually did on that volunteer day. And you'll see, we actually, for Earth Day, you'll see I used the Earth Day hashtag. And we also, one of our community partners is Foot Locker. So I made sure that I tagged Foot Locker in that post just so they could get the acknowledgement. They also shared it, they liked it, they came and commented. It's just a way to create interaction and engagement there. We also had a city council member stop by. So I made sure that I tagged her in the post also. So it's just good to use tags of different organizations or people when they're featured in your content, and to also use hashtags, because like I said, hashtags are a way to bring awareness to your mission or whatever content you're posting. And then the second one is an Instagram post. This one is a little lengthy, but it was because it was Giving Tuesday. So as we know, it's nonprofits. In November, we have Giving Tuesday, where we encourage everyone around the world to donate to a nonprofit. So I created this graphic that just was a simple graphic that says, I supported Peachtree Parks. And I did it as a way where people could screenshot it. And if they were to donate to us on Giving Tuesday, in a caption, I encourage people to post it on their story or their timeline as a way to show that they showed support to us for Giving Tuesday. And then I also just, my call to action in this caption, even if people couldn't support, I told them don't underestimate the power of advocacy. So following us on social media, engage with us through likes and comments, sharing is a key way to support us through Giving Tuesday, even if you can't give money. And yep, so those are two examples. And overall, my advice is just to have a presence. Be present on social media, even if it's one platform. Be present and be consistent. So even if you're starting out just posting once a week, at least try to post weekly, and then eventually you can get your posting up to a daily type of thing or 3 times a week. But be consistent. Make sure you're present, make sure you're consistent, and make sure you're engaging with others, and make sure you're also engaging with your own content. So like Carly stated, if someone is putting comments on your page, make sure you are responding, or even if you're not responding, they have the cool option where you can like a comment now, so that there's still some sort of engagement there. If people are sending you messages, make sure that you do respond. And I know on Instagram, there's like a hidden inbox. There's the primary, and then there's a general, or if someone's not following you, it won't automatically go to your primary inbox. So I've had people before comment like, hey, we DM'd you, can you check your inbox? And you kind of want to avoid that, because that can look like you're not responsive. But in a place like Instagram, sometimes you just don't see them, because when you're not following certain people, they don't always pop up in your general box. So just be aware of the platforms and little caveats like that to make sure that you're always engaging with your followers. So that's all I have.
Let me get over to my unmute. If everyone wants to unmute, we can just ask questions. I mean, that was wonderful. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of things that I'm learning here too. Yes, and Rosanne just clapped her hands. You got a standing ovation there. I'll turn my thing back on here. Yeah, so what are your questions? What are your thoughts, everybody? I think I can unmute everyone. Ask everyone to unmute.
Well, thank you both. The information you provided was incredible, and it was just a wrap up of everything. So now I have a better direction to go in. So thanks, much appreciated.
Thank you, Deborah. It sounds like there's a lot of online resources. And you know what? For me, I probably need to go back to this recording and listen again. I mean, I think I took it in, but I think I need to do that. And we will send this recording out to everyone so that they have it. My goodness, this was great though. Well, Jason, do you have a few things just to add as well? And this is Jason Alexander. He is our communications director for the commission. He helps me so much on an everyday basis from everything that I do to help promote things. And so, and we have a lot of resources with our social media that you can always connect to as well. So I think that's what he brought up. So
sure, I'll just add a few things here. Great to hear the great stuff from Carly and Bree. I'm learning so much from them. I've been with the commission about 8 years. I'm a former reporter. And then after my reporting days, I worked for AOL for a few years and learned a lot about social media and analytics and all things digital communications. But one thing I found in social media is it's always changing, you know, the algorithms change, you know, a lot of the, just strategies change a little bit. It is a little hard to keep up with. So it's something that you can always, you know, you can always keep learning. I'm learning more all the time. But in all my experience, I'd like to say that the thing that connects with people the most is people. And we have the story of people helping others. And I think that can be a pretty powerful story to tell. So I would echo what Carly and Bree said. Let's help each other. Let's share, comment, retweet, engage with each other. You never know, how far that reach is going to go once something starts going, and we can reach other people by helping each other and engaging with each other. So that's a good way to boost it for us all. Here's just our main accounts. We're on Facebook and Twitter. We do have LinkedIn too. Don't use that quite as much, but mainly Facebook and Twitter. So tag us, we usually use the hashtag Volunteer Michigan, use that hashtag, maybe so we can see some posts and share it. We would love to amplify and share and be a connector for all of you, to kind of start that summer engagement and hopefully, spread it to the other people. I saw a little question earlier on just talking about analytics. I think somebody asked that, we missed that earlier. I think it really depends on your organization. You always like to see growth. You always like to see it growing. I like to see, when we have like a big event like Volunteer Month, like when we have a lot of great content, I really like to see those numbers go up overall, that reach. If we have something like an event like Michigan's AmeriCorps celebration, where we bring AmeriCorps members together, I really want to see that engagement go up, during that event and around that event, and things like that. So it's small things you can look for in analytics like that. Not everybody's going to get posts that go, viral all the time, or, have a huge following. We're a small state agency. We're probably never going to have a huge following, but we can, engage other people and share with, so some of our, posts do, get that reach with others, which I want to talk a little about as well. Some of you may have heard of Governor Gretchen Whitmer once in a while, not always. We catch her attention. She has a pretty big following. It helps to get a boost, sometimes on things like that. We can help with that. We're in the Department of Labor Economic Opportunity in the state. They support us and share a post. Sometimes we connect with, AmeriCorps is pretty good about sharing, some of our bigger stories. And also we have accounts with Mentor Michigan for youth, youth initiatives. And we're connected with Mentor National. They share a lot of our posts too. So we would love to kind of help everybody give a boost. We're happy to be that connector, to share those good stories and start boosting that engagement. So I just want to say, let's connect and support each other and spread this great message of volunteerism.
Jason, can I add on to that? So Governor Whitmer has an initiative about tutors in schools, and she came to Jason and I was involved, and we put something together on our Get Connected, how you get to our Get Connected, which is our volunteer management platform that you all have actually access to. It's volunteermichigan.org. And when you go in, you'll see that initiative there. But within a day, we had almost 800 people respond to say that they wanted to volunteer, and they're all over the state. Well, what the beauty of that is, and how that keeps building, is every time she's done something or we've done something that's grabbed a lot of attention, we have all those people cataloged in our Get Connected. So if you go in and you create a agency profile in there and you post your opportunities, all of those people across the state also hear about your opportunities. So it's another way, like another layer of it, that is another way to reach volunteers. I would love to see more people doing that. So I'll send that link out when I send out the recording here today, just so you can take a look at it. And then, you know what else I'll do? I'd like everybody to take a look, and this is your call to action after this event, is I will send out the Michigan nonprofit guide link, which is MI Serves. That's really the platform, and one of the tools in there is the nonprofit guide. I'd like to hear from you if your organization is in, and if it is not, email me back with your EIN number. And I apologize for my dog. Somebody's outside. He doesn't like people walking in front of the house. Sorry about that. So Miles had a question too, and I don't know who'd like to answer this. What advice would you have to best and appropriately engage with legislatures on social media like Twitter as they impact our funding? Who'd like to take that one on?
So I'll just have a brief answer with us. You know, we as a state agency, we can't do much with advocacy in that way with funding. But I think, you know, if you engage, you know, and share things and tag them, maybe even things that are important to them in their district is a good start.
Yeah, I think that's great. Can I get our presenters, Bree and Carly and Jason, to put your social, or put your emails in here, your contact emails? I think folks are interested in catching up with you. So I think this is for Jason. Are you the face between the Michigan AmeriCorps Twitter account?
Sometimes I'm the one posting. I'm usually overseeing it. So that's usually me and our communications team as well, getting a lot of help. So
thank you for sharing some of our stuff.
Oh, anytime, we're always looking for content, and I'm lucky to have Bree with me for the summer to help me with some of that stuff. So we're looking to share. So yeah, I actually do have a question for everybody else. Does anybody use Facebook? This might be good for volunteer recruitment. They have, you know, where you can use it for a volunteer post where you're looking to recruit volunteers. I actually had Facebook reach out to me and kind of show me through that. And just for somebody, you know, it's kind of another platform, but if you don't have a platform, it would be a pretty popular, I would think, option for looking for volunteers. Does anybody use that? And has anybody had success with it?
I have used it. I actually used it this summer. We were granted this big greenhouse dome that we had to build, and we had to find all the volunteers to help us build it. So it was like I don't know how new the tool is, but it was new to me, and I used it, and you can kind of put what you're looking for if you pay, but we didn't pay. So I mean, but it was a good tool. The response that we got back was a little weird. We had some people actually that wanted to come out and volunteer, but some people thought it was like an actual like job. So we did get like resumes and stuff like that. But it still was a good tool to connect. It promoted it, and it did generate leads. So I have used it.
Is that the big dome that was featured in your Global Youth Service project this year?
Yep.
That's awesome. Was that the dome that was in your photo that you showed too?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to see that. I thought that was really exciting. Great. See, it's working. Wonderful. What else do you have in terms of questions?
I'm sorry. What's your name again? Jason?
Jason Alexander. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's like the actor, isn't it? I'm like, where have I seen that name before? I'm sorry. It was so weird. Okay. I gotta write that down.
I've heard that a time or two.
Okay, I just didn't know it was James or Jason. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I just wanted to thank our presenters today. They each did just such a phenomenal job, and they brought so much to this. I personally learned so much. I mean, just the fact that I figured out the hashtag situation was amazing to me. but honestly, this is wonderful. There's tons and tons of resources out there on social media, and some of our individuals that were in here today really know a lot about it too. And so that was really great. We're getting some kudos for Carly and Brianna. Yay, and need to drop in for another meeting. That's okay, Susan. But yeah, we'll send out the recording later with the help of my friend Jason here. And oh, yep, and Miles, one last question, feel free. Come on with it.
Thank you.
And you can unmute if you want.
Yeah, I can do that. I can even turn my camera on. Look at that.
Look at that.
So I'm very new to the whole sphere of this, but I'm enjoying it so far. Are there any like channels set up for people who are in our position who can post the content that we want to post for certain like holidays that are coming up? So like, for example, Juneteenth. And so if I want to share a large variety of different content from different organizations, such as everyone kind of in the Zoom call, instead of going to each individual page to share other people's things, is there something available where we can collaborate to push out each other's content like that for increased awareness? Or is that just too big of a thing?
No, I think it's a great idea. We try to do it in different ways. For example, for like National Days of Service, I'd want to see, I'll kind of make up our own hashtag a little different than the national one, just so I can find, I can find those posts and share those onto the national one or something like that. Yeah, it's just kind of getting together and we can do it with our grantees sometimes, and sometimes we do it for AmeriCorps. We do it just a little bit different than national, so we can easily find those posts. But it's a great idea to work together and find some of those common hashtags that you use. But yeah, it just kind of takes a collaboration. I think it's a good idea for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Anyone else have any last minute questions? We've got our experts here. Okay, well, it looks like we're wrapping up. I just again wanted to thank everyone for being here, and then just remind you that this is a part of our Volunteer Generation Fund grant. This is what makes these trainings possible. And our Volunteer Generation Fund, it's through AmeriCorps, and the goal is that we will increase the number of volunteers serving in the great state of Michigan. So we hope that you use these lessons and these webinars and the resources that you have available here at the Commission to really expand your ability to engage more volunteers with resources and things like that. And that at some point, if we reach out and we ask to share numbers, we never ask for personal information. We may ask you to share your volunteer numbers and your volunteer hours with us if you would. And then that really gets kind of tells a story about volunteerism in the state of Michigan. So we're really grateful that you joined us today, and we hope that we see you at our next session, which is going from passion to service, and that's a board development training that's going to be hosted by the Johnson Center. We have the rest of our trainings up on our website for the next couple of months too, and I'll send that link out when I send this out, and a reminder for the next one. It's never too late. You can always sign up the day of for those trainings, but we're really glad that you were here, and we are so grateful to all of our presenters today, Carly, Bree, and Jason. Thank you so much. And we hope that the rest of you have a wonderful day. Enjoy that sunshine while we have it. And we're expecting some really warm weather. So, if you've got yard work, get that done today. I know that's what I have to do tonight. Well, thank you for being here, everyone. Take care. Bye.